Hello and welcome, it's Michael Kölling here again, and welcome back to our contagion scenario. After we managed to program the infection and the spread of infection last time, now we are going to look at the healing of people and how we can get people get healthier again after some time. Here we go. You know what? I don't really like this white background. I have here the ability now to have my people run around. I can interactively infect one of them. I can see the infection spreading. That is already good, and I quite like the visual effect of the blue color changing to the orange color. That is fine, but I want to change the background of the world. I can just go to the world class, right click it, and there's a set image option. And here, if I look at backgrounds, the background category, there are a number of backgrounds. So if I choose something like this, let's see what it looks like. I have to actually I just recreate the world here by selecting the world constructor. So this, if I run this, okay, this looks more like a corkboard than anything else. Maybe I look again, set image, what else I've got. Here's some sort of sand colored thing. Maybe that looks better. Let's try that out. This one has now a grid painted on it. I don't really need the grid. Oh, maybe that's okay. Pick any background you like. You can also actually choose images from the internet. If you don't like any one of the any of the prepared images here, if you set the image, you can also, if you go here, let me get that on the screen, create a new image or import something. So you can actually also get images that you somehow make yourself or find on the internet or so. So pick a nice background image and do that. The next thing I want to do here today is I want people to heal again after a while. So at the moment, yes, let's do that next, so that they can heal. So at the moment, if I infect one of them and I run around, they all become infected and they remain infected forever. So what I actually want to do is I want them to be infected for a while and then after a certain time heal again. So the way I can do that is essentially by just specifying a time, how long I want them to be infected. So I say private static final, that's a constant again, infection time. I want that in capitals because it's a constant. It's a convention that you write constants in capitals. And let's say we make that, I don't know, 200 act cycles or so. Why is there an error now? That should work later though. And so is infected now doesn't become a just true and false anymore. Instead of just keeping track of whether someone is infected or not, I want to count how long they have been infected. So I call this infection, and I set this to 0 initially, which means they are not infected. So this now has to be a number, an int, so the infection is 0. So when now someone becomes infected, instead of setting is infected to true, I say infection is initialized to infection time. So initially they are have 200 steps as the infection level. and we say here, where we say if is infected, then infect others, this will not work now because I don't have the is infected Boolean anymore. So we will see that this doesn't exist. So what I'll do instead, I make the is infected, I make that a method. I say private Boolean, oops, I didn't mean that to be capitals, private Boolean is infected, and I just say someone is infected if the infection is greater than 0. So infection is now my integer that counts how we are, how long we've been infected. Once we get infected, it starts off with our 200, then I will count it down over time, and when we reach 0, then we're not infected anymore. So now, in addition, so this one is infected now becomes a method, and then it should work. And then I want to heal as well. So over time, I want to heal. So I move, I might infect others, and then I heal. So healing, the process works like this. Private heal, every act step, oops, there is the void missing. Private void heal, I say infection. No, I should say that if infection is greater than 0, because if it is 0, then I'm not infected, so I don't need to heal. If infection is greater than 0, I can say heal minus minus, so I am reducing my infection level. And if I am now, if I am just transitioning from being infected to not being infected, so if I'm just reaching the 0, is I say if infection has just reached 0 now, then I say set image immune.png. That's the name of the other image that I had prepared. So does that look okay? If infection is greater than 0, so I can also actually use this one. This is nicer if I use that. If I say if is infected, again, that does the same thing because that is my test, but it is nicer to read, because if I just say if is infected, then heal, that reads really well. That reads almost like an English sentence. If is infected, then I heal. Oh, sorry, not heal. Then not heal minus minus, infection minus minus. Sorry, that was an error in my thinking. Infection is reduced, and if the infection reaches 0, then we are immune. I should document this. Okay, so that should almost do it. It's not quite right, which we should see in the moment. So at the moment, if he runs around, he infects others, and after a while, after some steps, I don't know whether I have chosen the length properly, we see that no one ever reaches immunity. So something is wrong here. I would expect someone to become immune. So I can here inspect this object. If I look into this, it has an infection level of 191, so that person is quite highly infected. The problem here is that they are getting constantly infected over and over and over again. So if I infect others, even if they were already infected, they get infected again. And when they get infected again, the infection time is constantly being reset to 200. So essentially, what I want to do is, if they are already infected or if they are immune, they should not get infected again. So here, if I say infect, I should say if not is immune, and if we are immune, we can't have this. So we should actually record whether we are immune or not. So at the beginning, it's false. We're not immune when the program starts. And if someone tries to infect us, if we are immune already, we won't get infected again. If we're not immune, then it's infected. We set the and we should now say is immune is true, so that we don't get infected again. And it's quite important actually to set the immune to true, not just when we are fully healed, but immediately when we are infected, so that while we're halfway through the infection, that we don't get reinfected and the time of the disease starts over and over again. Let's see what that looks like now. So if I do that now, I infect one of them, I run this, that person infects lots of others, and there they turn green, which means these people are coming out of infection and they are now immune. And after a while, no one's infected anymore, everyone's immune, with one lucky guy there in the middle who managed not to get infected at all. Okay, that was good. We've achieved quite a bit today. We managed to go from an infected population to actually having the people heal again. So we're now set up to actually monitor maybe the spread of the infection in the next episode. In the meantime, let me know in the comments if you want me to clarify something in more detail, or if you want to make some suggestions. I will have a look at those. And as always, play around with your implementation, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.